Welcome back. In today's industry recap, a new Boeing order has been defended. Airbus downplays an A220 and an airline makes a switch away from Airbus to American plane maker Boeing. Beginning there with Vueling making a dramatic shift away from Airbus, instead opting for American plane maker Boeing to help power the future of its single-aisle division. The move made by the International Airlines Group, or more commonly referred to as IAG, in its second quarter report, said that the 737 MAX would be utilised for the future. As part of the move, IAG confirmed that 50 of the 737 MAX jets initially will fly with the Spanish carrier, part of an order that was placed in 2022, with the full intention of enhancing flight capabilities and encouraging more airlines to transition towards next-generation models. Ultimately, while an enhancement of the Vueling fleet, it marks a dramatic shift away from a long-established fleet strategy, which saw an exclusive reliance on Airbus planes. They will take delivery of their first 737 MAX from late 2026, this providing the schedule does not slip due to ongoing production challenges that we know have been hitting the American plane maker. As for variants, IAG has decided that the order, which is split into two, will equally have Vueling in different manners. With the 737-8-200, this is your high-density model really seen over at Ryanair to benefit, and this will be possible through 25 commitments. Additionally, IAG ordered 25 of the 737-10s, and while this aircraft remains uncertified, it is still the highest capacity model in the program. It will benefit the Spanish carrier tremendously as air travel only continues to increase in the coming years based on all forecasting that has been made available to us. Now, as I mentioned, it's been an incredibly busy period for the International Airlines Group, and this decision is quite a big one. Load factors at Vueling sat at 89.3%, and they were able to see their capacity jump 3.3% due to efforts to increase market share. But the fleet is one of the more interesting elements of the switch. They operate exclusively with the A320 family. Now, the composition sees a very nice mix with a reliance on the current engine option alongside the new engine option that ranges from the A319 to the A320ceo, A320neo, A321ceo, and A320neo. In terms of the next generation of jets, well, Vueling has taken delivery of those two aforementioned types over the last half decade and has worked up a healthy fleet. Probably the only struggle has been actually in the reliability of these planes. They would absolutely, though, not be the only ones to be facing something similar, with more often than not, unfortunately, many of these new aircraft being grounded. Over to the next story, where Malaysia Airlines has actually been facing a bit of scrutiny following the purchase of new commercial aircraft from American plane maker Boeing, at least locally. A contract which came after much deliberation was formally announced in March and involved up to 60 of the popular 737 MAX jets to elevate single-aisle operations. However, since the Malaysia Aviation Group has been under pressure and scrutiny as reported by The Edge Malaysia, much of the scrutiny centers around the usage of taxpayers' monies and the feeling that this was not something necessary for the broader airline group, a stance that the Investment, Trade and Industry Minister of Malaysia very much rejects, saying the deal with Boeing is not a waste of taxpayers' money. The contract signing is an investment in the future, was planned for quite some time to occur, and will be financed in full by the company's funds. Away from this, the persistent threat of tariffs and their increasing nature means it hasn't been uncommon for countries to sign significant deals to reduce tariffs with the United States, and more often than not, this has subsequently included the new purchase of aircraft, which is why, if you've been frequently tuning into the channel, or really have just been keeping up with industry developments elsewhere, you've probably noticed there has been order after order being placed from countries for the development of their respective airlines fleets. This has been visible with the likes of Thailand, who confirmed they would purchase new planes. Bangladesh was announced only in the last couple of weeks, and even Japan signing for many new aircraft as part of trade deals. However, in this case, it was not a purchase that was said to be made just to reduce tariffs, the minister says. Instead, it was a decision that was part of many agreements in a bid to elevate Malaysia in the coming years. Additionally, it shows Malaysia as an appetite for a buyer, a strategy implemented to ensure that the best interests of all companies in the countries are protected. But what deal has attracted so much attention? Well, it is the order order for the 737 MAX, with 737-8s and 737-10s being included, and options for a further 30 units should they wish to be activated at a later date. The Dash 10 was really focused in on to elevate capacity on the single-aisle network in the coming years, but as we know, it remains uncertified. While the purchase was agreed in March, the deal was listed on Boeing's orders and deliveries page as an unidentified deal in January, therefore right at the time of the administration changeover and being discussed long before that. Over to the final story, there has been much industry talk about the prospects of a new A220 variant to evolve the single-aisle program. In early June, it was reported that Airbus was progressing with the development of a new higher capacity model in the series. Certification, which was at the time expected to involve a 160-seater model, was to commence by year's end under those current plans and represent an increase from the existing largest variant in the A220, which is the Dash 300. Airbus has long recognised that the program has been of use to many airlines around the world. It has also received strong feedback from customers who have sought the production of a new variant as well. However, across recent months, the plane maker's chief executive has hinted at putting the brakes on a new potential variant. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but it certainly means that focus has to be on making sure this is a suitable investment. Shared in reporting by Aviation Week at the conclusion of the Paris Air Show, the CEO remained non-committal about the prospects of stretching the A220 further, but industry analysts view this as a program catching a lot of attention as it becomes a reality. He said at the time the decision on new endeavours are only made when they are made, and sometimes, despite the potential for success, the hardest part is actually getting a jet off the ground. Additionally, he cautioned that not all aircraft studies are released, and this is something that's been visible across many aircraft programs in the industry's long history, with plane makers attempting to innovate, but not always hitting the mark, instead choosing to scrap the planned release. With that being said, even if endeavours are to be scrapped, the valuable learnings and testing are key for the development of following possible aircraft, for no study therefore can be deemed as entirely pointless even if it doesn't make it past the drawing board. That'll conclude today's industry recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. If you have any thoughts, you can let me know down below in the comments. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your next industry recap.